Om Surabhyay Namaha.
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 Mukham karoti vasanam tvangam langayate girim yakripatmaham bande Sri Krsna yakripatmaham bande Sri Krsna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Sunday reading from speaking about Varnasrama. Here's our marker. So this section is number 6, entitled Varnasrama to Save a Troubled World. And this is a morning walk conversation in Vrindavan on the 12th of March 1974. So Prabhupada with various devotees, just to refresh our memory. Here are some of the topics being discussed here. Every ISKCON center should be, not should have, but should be, a Varnasrama college. Leadership means to see which man is suited to which work and to engage every resource properly. Number 3, it is a sign of mismanagement if people are not inspired to work. And the last theme, Varnasrama management will end unemployment and famine. So one of the devotees by the name of Nitai is asking, Srila Prabhupada, what should the Kshatriyas be taught? Very important topic. What should the Kshatriyas be taught? Prabhupada. Kshatriya should be taught that he is a manager. He must see that everyone is engaged. And if there is any fight, they must come forward to fight. This is Kshatriya's business. There may be fight. Somebody may attack us. Not that chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And everyone. No, they must come forward. Yes, we are prepared to fight. How many Kshatriyas do we have here? Raise your hand. That is Kshatriya. Tamal Krishna Prabhupada. In our centers we are awarding Brahmana initiation, second initiation. Prabhupada. No, initiation should go on. You do not understand what I have said. That is for Vaishnava. A Vaishnava, Vishnu, just like Krishna is Vishnu. He's not human being, but he was acting like human being. Similarly, Vaishnava is transcendental. But for proper management of the material world, one should be acting like Brahmana, one should be acting like Kshatriya. That is required. Just like actually we are doing so. Some of you are preaching, some of you are cleaning the temple. It does not mean that a sannyasi who is preaching, he is better than that man who is cleaning. Their position as Vaishnava is the same. But for the management, one is cleaning, one is seeing the construction, one is going to preach like that. That should be there. It is not that because I have taken sannyas, therefore I cannot anymore do anything. If need be, he has to act as Kshatriya or Shudra. It doesn't matter. So very important point being made. In the traditional, what is called Varnasrama system, where this understanding was less present, this understanding that we are all servants of Krishna, we are all Vaishnava. Vaishnava means followers of Lord Vishnu. And the origin of Vishnu is Krishna. So regardless of what position, and one could interchange, to some extent. One could be doing all kinds of service that normally would be done by others, but when there's a need or necessity, one takes up such service. The Prabhupada continues, doesn't matter, but manage. For management, this division must be there. Otherwise it will be mismanagement. Yes. A Vaishnava coming to the position of doing the work of a Shudra does not mean he has become Shudra. He is Vaishnava. So that's why Prabhupada sometimes will say, so a Vaishnava is another Shudra. But he may take on the position of Shudra. Actually, most Vaishnavas will be taking on that position or activity of Shudra. Shudra means, see, if we understand it, we have to, Prabhupada used to explain, to understand something nicely, properly, we have to look at it from different angles. From the right side, from the left side, from the front side, from the back side, from the upside, from the downside. All the different, it's like an elephant. It's big, no? If you just touch the trunk, that's not the whole elephant. It's only one part of the elephant. So, so this is an important understanding. Two types, this is another way, another angle, let's say, to understand more easily. There are two types of people in the world. I mean, there's a lot more types of people, but two general types of people. Those who are leaders, we say natural leaders. Nowadays we don't have many leaders. It's difficult. Kali Yuga has a scarcity of leaders. Paucity of leaders. But generally, this is what we see in any community. Some people will be more naturally inclined to lead. And those who are not inclined to lead should follow. If one is not a leader, one should follow. So that's why in the Vedic culture, the emphasis especially is given on training leaders. And that is why Gurukul training especially is to train leaders. This is not understood in modern day education. We cannot artificially train people to be leaders if they don't have the natural tendency or ability. So Gurukul system, that's why traditional Gurukul system is primarily to train leaders. And who are the leaders? The natural leaders are the Brahmanas. The natural leaders are the Kshatriyas. The natural leaders are the Vaishyas. When there are such qualified people, then those who don't have that natural tendency to be a Brahmana, to be a Kshatriya, to be a Vaishya, they will be following. And followers mean Shudra, basically. But, as Prabhupada explains, anyone who takes up to the process of bhakti, of devotional service, especially based on the chanting of the holy name, then he can become, regardless of one's position, if one becomes a perfect follower, then he becomes a perfect devotee. I mean, Brahmanas also follow. They follow Shastra. The Kshatriyas, although they are leaders, they also follow the directive or direction of the Brahmanas. Ultimately, everyone follows dharma, the principles of dharma. Everyone follows Krishna, isn't it? So just to continue here, just like in the stage, if you want to play something, one must be king, one must be queen, like that. But neither of them are actually king or queen. That is stage play. Similarly, to manage things in the material world, we have to, according to guna karma. Karma, there must be. Therefore, the karma should be done, executed according to quality. Guna karma vibhadashaha. Then Atreya Rishi. So in our movement, the leaders must decide how every devotee and every resource leadership, which man is fitted for which work. The first thing is that we should see that everyone is engaged. That is the special responsibility of a leader, to arrange society or a community in such a way that everyone is nicely engaged according to their individual situation. Nobody should be without engagement. Then it will be idle. Idle brain is devil's workshop. And the devil is Kamini Kanchana. What is Kamini Kanchana? Women and money. The whole world is running after women and money. Of course, women are running after men also. It's not a one-way street. It works both ways. So we should see that everyone is engaged properly. Everyone should be trained as a Vaishnava. Actually, that's the basic common, we say common denominator. That is what is meant to be the same in everyone. If everyone actually becomes, the more we become Vaishnava, the more we actually understand what is Vaishnava, then we have no problem with this. Problems arise when we are not sufficiently Vaishnava, because Vaishnava means, whatever you tell me to do, I'll do. Vaishnava means humble and will accept one's position according to different situations. sometimes Vaishnava in a particular situation may have to take some particular role. Sometimes he'll take an opposite role. Sometimes he might be a leader. Sometimes he might be a follower. But there are natural tendencies, and they need to be taken up in the context of community or society. Society means larger community. Nation means a whole number of many communities. Every village is a community. Every city also is a community. So if our men are not prepared, so Prabhupada is speaking to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So if our men are not prepared, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, for doing the plowing work, then what is the use of purchasing land? Whoops, sensitive point there. What's the use of having land if we don't grow food, if we don't plow the land? And then Tamal Krishna answers, they are not prepared. Huh? They're not prepared. Then you have to engage labor and spend 200 rupees per head at least at that time. Now it's what, 500? What's the labor? 500, 600? Depends which part of India you're in. I think the minimum wage now in America is maybe $20 an hour or something, or 15 minutes.
It's still less than 10.
10?
It's less than 10. Most
Less
of
than
the
10.
states, yeah.
Must have gone up since it left America. An hour.
Indiana was $8.
Eight.
Yeah, now it's 10.
10, huh? $10 an hour. $10 an hour for India. I mean, this is US. That means what? $700. 700 rupees. Right?
An hour.
An hour. So don't complain if you have a labor for 500 rupees a day. Right? Yeah, so then you have to, if devotees are not ready to work or serve, then we have to get the work done, we have to hire. But the hire means we have to pay, including salary and food, and the production is nil. They're going around in circles. In this way, there must be 10,000, 20,000 expenditure. Am I right or not? You bring money somewhere from anywhere and let us spend lavishly. What kind of management is this? So somebody will bring money with hard labor and another body will spend it like irresponsible prince. That should be stopped. This is management. So Prabhupada continues here. But actually, if we show that we are producing, actually people, general people, maybe non-devotees, if they see when they come to any place, like our place, and if they see that there's nice activities going on, if they see we're growing our own food, etc. like that, we're looking after our cows nicely, then people will appreciate. If they come and if they see something different, then they will just see these people. They're just collecting money and eating nicely and Haribol, Haribol. What a life. Happy life. Prabhupada is making this point. But they were seeing that escaping. They escape responsibility of worldly life and they're indulging in some religion. The Haribol religion, Hare Krishna. Everywhere the government is complaining like that. Therefore they do not want to increase the number of temples, increase the number of devotees. Because they say there are a class of idle men. Idle men. This is actually unfortunately a common tendency. A common tendency that we find in different places. Devotees have the wrong understanding that I'm a devotee now, right? I beat that. I'm a devotee. And who is telling me? Yeah, I was just and going around to different communities. Because I was transcribing one of the communities. Because anyway, somehow that work was not done. Different leaders I was interviewing, and one of the leaders in one particular community, I will not say which one, this is one of the foreign communities outside of India. He was telling that we have such a nice place. We have a big place. Our land is paid for, no mortgage, and but if anyone comes here, what do you see? You'll see all these nice people walking around in yogis, holding their hand in some bag. They don't see anyone working. Lamb, cows means, in New Vrindavan in the old days, I remember when I had gone there, I saw, probably one of the first times I saw many devotees wearing, working clothes, because they were working. Very difficult to do heavy work, like in nice, clean dhoti. They were having working clothes. This Paramananda, he was the first minister of cow protection. He very much inspired Hare Krishna Dasi to write this book. This book actually that we're reading right now. So this Paramananda, on the original book, speaking about Varnasrama, Prabhupada is visiting Gita Nagari. So he was there. He was in New Vrindavan for some time, then he went to Gita Nagari. And there's only one devotee who's having, in America they have a special, you might have seen, a special farmer's kind of outfit with the belts. Yeah. And it's like long trousers, you could say. It's working.
Onesie.
Yeah. So like in Bengal, what they do, if there's some work to be done, they put a gamsha. Some of our devotees are doing that also. Gamsha, right? Because you don't... Gamsha is for working. Dhoti is for the temple, generally. Unless if you're preaching to life members, you don't go in a gamsha. If we come to the temple, we also don't come in a gamsha. We come, nice tilak and clean dress, etc. like that. So every place has its. So that was the complaint of this particular devotee I was interviewing, that we have such a nice place. The devotees don't understand that they have to get their hands wet, so to speak. So there's a few more here. Yes. If you know that you are actually doing something ideal, then they will appreciate. Outside people, they will appreciate. Then Prabhupada says, make a small unit of community. Don't need a big community. I was very inspired actually when I had read the explanation that Hari Sari Prabhu, who was writing as the secretary for Srila Prabhupada, he wrote this Transcendental Diary. What is it? Transcendental Diary in 5 or 6 volumes. So I believe the last volume that he had written was describing Hyderabad farm. At that time, Hyderabad farm actually had 700 acres. Now they have 50. And then Prabhupada was in Hyderabad. There's a picture of that, actually. Prabhupada sitting very casually under a tree, under a big tree. I think that tree's still there. Prabhupada was staying in one of the buildings close by. And so he was explaining that actually here, because we have big land, so therefore there can be clusters of 6, 7, 8 families in different places on the land. And in each of these, this makes a small unit or a small community. 6, 7 or 8 families, they will each have their temple, small temple. You know, otherwise it's like the temple, the community we have in Canada. It takes, you know, it's from one end to the other. It's 10 kilometers walking. So very difficult to go to Mangalarti if the temple is 10 kilometers away, right? I mean, it's difficult to come to Mangalarti even if it's like a few feet away. Because our feet like to stay in the bed. So, especially our community, and that's what is happening actually. People come together in their particular areas. People are on the north side, they congregate on the north side. If they're on the south side, and maybe for a big festival, then they have some common place. So, like this, it means that even a small group of families, they can congregate together and yeah. What was this? Yes. Make a small unit of community. Prabhupada is telling me. In India, the Brahmana class, they say, oh, I am born in Brahmana family. Why should I do this work? Therefore, the whole society has gone to hell. In your country, still, they accept any kind of work. It doesn't matter. And here in India, if he happens to be a Brahmana, he'll not take any kind of work. Just like plowing, he'll not agree. Therefore, so much land is idle. Kshatriya is thinking, I am Kshatriya. The Brahmana is thinking, I am Brahmana. And the land is lying fallow. There is no production. He will go to the office and will fight with the pen. Kshatriyas have become pen fighters.
Now keyboard fighters.
Huh?
Now keyboard fighters.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They're more advanced now. Before it was one hand, now it's 2 hands. And instead of studying Vedas, he'll study the rules and regulations given by the office. But he'll not come to plow. Therefore, there's scarcity of food. He'll go to a mill to work as ordinary laborer. So much land we see, unutilized. And they're crying for grain. Why? I was writing that in New York, the whole city is full of dirty things, garbage, for want of cleaners. And you go to the Central Park, you'll find so many hippies are lying down, idle. Prabhupada was very much against what he called the hippie mentality. Hippie mentality. Just relax. Now there's big commotion in America because summertime, right? So in places like California and Florida, they have nice beaches. And, it's like the natural thing for Americans, it's part of their motto, to go to the beach. But now, why all these restrictions, lockdown, this and that? So people are okay, maybe 1 month lockdown, not 2. But now it's going on for so many months, so people are revolting against why we're being controlled in this way. Don't be controlled and just continue to die. This section is about finished, actually. Just one last paragraph, just to finish off here. A child does not want to go to school, but it is the duty of the parent to send him to the school by some way or other. Of course, now they want to now they want to send everyone to school by the age of 3. As soon as you stop crawling, as soon as you start walking, you walk to school. This is a new advanced formula, advanced education. Shastra is saying that the first school is at home. And the first teachers are mommy and daddy. Yes, parents are the first teachers. Now, mommy and daddy are working outside somewhere, so no one is there to teach. So you send your kid to, anyway. So that is the government's duty, that a man should be employed according to his capacity. There should be no unemployment. In so many countries, there's increasing unemployment. And increasing unemployment means increasing idleness of the brain. Increasing, probably quoted here. Kamini Kanchana, women and money, is what people have on their mind. Yes, everyone should be engaged, and if everyone is engaged, he'll never fall sick. That's also important. By being engaged, we remain healthy. Probably telling farmers, their sons are giving up the farming business, going to the city. Yes. Okay. Next week we'll begin with chapter 7, entitled Working is Also Preaching. Working is also preaching. So if we want to be recognized as a good preacher, we should be a good worker. Any questions?
I just wanted to mention, Maharaj, in New Vrindavan,
New Vrindavan?
Varsana Maharaj.
Who?
Varsana
Yeah,
Maharaj.
Good.
The best example, I've never seen Maharaj in saffron or even in dhoti. Whenever I went there,
Yes.
he's always in t-shirt and working. Maharaj.
Yes. That's correct. Yeah. One sannyasi who's been there from the very early days. He knows how to drive bulldozers and tractors. He's really down to earth, active. All the residents of Vrindavan in those early days, they were very much like us. He's one of the few survivors.
Yes.
Of those early days. Okay. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Samasta Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki. Hare Krishna.